To Tech Brothers with Ahmed. Today we are going to answer this question and perform a demo. Which functions we can use to concatenate strings in SQL Server 2012 and latest versions? So answer of this question is we can use concat function in SQL Server 2012 and latest version to concatenate strings. In previous versions such as 2000, 2005 and 2008 we were using a plus sign to concatenate the string values. That plus sign can be used in latest versions as well, but there is a small difference when we use a plus sign instead of a concat function. So let's jump into demo and take a look. So I have created a DDL statement for the create table. So I have a table called customer table with first name, last name, house number, street name and city, and then I inserted a couple of records, and if you see here, so I have first name, last name, and then I have a street house number, then I have a street name, and then I have city name, and then I have state name. So this is first record. The second record, in the second record what we have, we do not have the house number, so we have null values there. So let's create this table and insert this value. Execute. So the table is created and now we can query this table. So select start from DBO customer address. That's our table. Now what do you see? We have a null value in the house number for John Smith. So what we want to do from here, we want to create a complete address by using house number, street name, city and state. So how we can do that? So let's consider concatenating all of these columns. So we want to do house number, and then we want to do concatenate with the other columns. But before we concatenate, I want to put a small space between them. So I want to consider putting a space between them. Then I want to have a street name. Then again I want to have space between those columns, and then add city to it, and then I want to have space again, and then what I want, state. So this statement or this SQL statement might fail. Why? Because the house number in this case, what we know that already it is an integer. So if this will be string, this will not fail, but in this case it is going to fail as it is a integer. So let's run this one. So what we see here, conversion failed when converting the worker value test street to the data type integer. It is not able to convert. So what we have to do here, we have to convert. So we can cast or use the convert function as varchar or char, whatever we want here. So let's consider this one to the varchar 10. So now our house number is converted to the string, and we can use the plus sign to concatenate all the string values or string columns. So here run the query, and what we see here, and I can give the as name as full street address. So now we have, so what we see here, let me put a asterisk here, so I'm getting all the column, then I'm creating the next column. So what we see here, because of this null value, when we concatenate these columns or the values of these columns, what happened, it converted to the null. When we are using the default settings of the SQL Server, we are not implementing any or changing the setting on server level or database level to handle this situation. So with the default settings of SQL Server, if there is a null value in any column and we will add that or concatenate that by using the add sign, what's going to happen, it is going to give us a null value. How we will address these situations if we use a plus sign? So in those cases, what we use is null. So we say is null. We try to find if there is any null value and we want to replace that. So we can replace that one with the space here or blank. So that way we can handle these situations. Now you see here this null is converted to the space, and that's how we got this result. But see here we are doing couple of things. We have to have use is null for all of the other columns as well. There could be a possibility we have more records here and there would be any of the column can be null. That can convert or that can give us the wrong information. It will be only given us null values in the full street address. With the concat, let's take the same query and convert to concat function. Now in this query we will be using concat. So one thing we will be using here, let's remove this part. Still we have to cast or convert the house number to the varchar or string, and I'm going to use the concat function here, and then we have to put another parenthesis around here. And here the concat function work like this. So you have to have write concat, and then you have to provide a column 1 or value 1 or whatever, then you provide value 2, and you keep providing all those values. So that's how we are going to build our full address here. So we will be using same concat function here. Then instead of the plus sign we will be using a comma. Here again we will be using comma, and you see that I'm still adding the blank space between those columns. So that's also allowed to use as hard code values for the concat functions. Wherever you want to write something, if you want to write at the end something, say is a complete address or whatever, so you can write it. So concat function, then you are casting the house number as a varchar, because concat accepts the strings, and then you have to put the comma and then another value, and then you have to other values. So keep adding those values, whatever is required to concatenate. So this is how you're going to build your string. So select here. So what is happening here? So even we have null here and we did not use is null function to replace the value, null value with the empty string or something, still we are getting a address without a null. So concat function will not consider null. It will eliminate the null values, but concatenate all those other values and give us the output. So that's the difference when you use the plus sign and concat. So in the plus sign, if you are using plus sign to concatenate, you have to make sure you are converting the null values of the columns to some blank space or whatever you want, and then in the concat you don't have to worry, that will be eliminated. So thanks very much for watching this video, and I will see you in next video.